Hello everyone, welcome back to my channels. Uh, Thank you very much. But today I would like to make some comments as well as propose some ideas or narratives with regard to the recent illegal assembly that happened in Kepala Batas. I would call it the UMNO Bersatu rally against the flag blunder. Now, the purpose of my video here is to look at what was the objective that this UMNO Bersatu rally was trying to achieve, and more specifically, what was Akmal's objective. The second question is, was Akmal successful in his objective? And the third is, what does it mean for Malaysia that this has happened in a manner that it had? Now, for the first question, let's look at what was Akmal's objective. Now, we know all along that this has always been an Akmal playbook. Akmal has been known to just pounce on the non-Malays, particularly the Chinese, and particularly the DAP, on any issue. Even though he is said to have a medical degree from Russia, I have never heard him say anything useful in terms of science or in terms of health. But he's always harping on race relation, always painting the idea that UMNO and him and the Malays are more patriotic than those other people. So that has always been in his playbook. And my reading is that Akmal's objective in citing this issue of flag by this Chinese elderly person, calling him APEC in a derogatory manner. First of all, his objective was always to make he himself, to be the hero of the Malays. And so, as a hero of the Malays, I have said the Hulu Balang idea or the Pahlawan idea, talking in an insulting manner, pointing fingers, always in an insulting manner, calling other people bengap, people who are supporting other opinions than him. All of them are bengap. Bengap means more than stupid. Well, bengap, bangang, tengin are all Malay words that means many different things. If people are bengap, I think he may even be more than that. Now, the second thing is that he wants to make UMNO relevant again. And ever since UMNO lost a lot of seats, a lot of the Malays have gone to PAS and to Bersatu. And that is why we can see that the senior leaders of UMNO is always quiet when Akmal makes his circus play. I've always wondered why that is so. Why can't they control him? All they have to do is tell him to shut up. But they didn't. And in this particular issue, there was no sound at all from the top. So that means to me that in one sense, UMNO is allowing Akmal to weaponize this issue of bendera or flag so that he can rally the Malays once again back into UMNO and painting not only Akmal as the hero but also UMNO as the hero, the Hulu Balang, the one carrying the flag of justice and patriotism of Malaysia and of the Malays, who are supposed to be ketuanan or the owners as well as the leader of Malaysia, including Sabah and Sarawak. In this particular case, Akmal is not only rallying the Malays to UMNO, but he is also inviting other political parties like PAS and Bersatu to come together. And this is the first time that this has happened, and this is a very significant event in the sense that the young people or the pemuda from these three Malay-based parties came together, even though there were only 200 or 300 of them. But they came together and this is the first time since Perikatan Nasional had governed the country with UMNO and PAS and Bersatu. This is the first time that I see that they have come together. So this is a very significant success for Akmal. Now, what is the message that he's trying to send to the Pakatan Harapan party? I think he's trying to send a message that, look, UMNO can be with PN any time of the day, with the condition that UMNO is the big boss. Because if UMNO was just to tag along, then it's useless. So the senior leaders are saying that Barisan Nasional on UMNO must go with PH in the next general election. But there is also the possibility that they could go with Perikatan Nasional. So there is this uncertainty, or what we call tactical option. And in politics, there's always a tactical option. So many people think that this Akmal is a buffoon or a stupid person, but actually what he does has a great tactical meaning and a strategic decision to do something, not just to follow whims and just making himself like a hero. I've watched him and also the UMNO and also the other party, how they stay quiet, or maybe they just lend a hand, or maybe they never would actually counter what Akmal is doing. And so that is actually an interesting meaning. So that is actually what Akmal's objective was, to make himself the hero, to make UMNO the hero, to unite the Malay parties and give the option that he could go with PH or will go with PN. That is how I read the objective of Akmal and this rally. So it's a strategic move. Now, second question is, was he successful? Well, the answer is yes and no. Yes, he was successful because what he did was he came to the lion's den, meaning Penang is the stronghold of DAP. And so by showing his face there into the enemy's territory, even though he says that this is a himpunan for Malaysians, all Malaysians, not just Malays, well, we can see most of them are Malays, like the himpunan Turun Anwar, they're mostly Malays, and the speakers are also Hilman and himself, who are Malays. Right? We do not see any other representative. Even though the himpunan Turun Anwar, there were some Indians and Chinese talking Indian and Chinese, but they were just talking to themselves. There were not many people of other races. So in that, he was very successful in projecting himself a hero. He was successful also in bringing the party of Malay parties together, and that is a very significant success for him. But he also failed in a lot of things. Number one, he thought that he would be meeting with a whole load of DAP people. Now, many people have commented, why did DAP not bring in 500 members? Look, if DAP had done that, then number one, they would have violated the police order. The police order said no rally. Number two, if 500 DAP members came against 200 of the Malay parties, it will be what we call making this small himpunan to be a very big deal. So in politics, if a small person like Akmal is being threatened by a whole load of non-Malays with big guns like Stephen Sim, Menteri, then his political image would have swollen or become larger. In that, Akmal was not successful because Stephen Sim ordered the DAP to stand down because of the police order, and also he understood that if the DAP came down, then it would be a Melayu-China confrontation. Number two, he expected some big guns from DAP to lawan with him, meaning people like Anthony Loke, people like Stephen Sim, people like Lim Guan Eng, people like Chow, the minister, to come down and also confront him. But unfortunately, the one that confronted him was another Malay by the name of Zaid Malik, who is not of any political party. It was just an NGO. So that took the wind out of his sails. And this is the reason why he failed miserably to project this Malay against non-Malay image, because there was another Malay there, Zaid Malik. And we must thank Zaid Malik to be brave enough and courageous enough to be there. And he actually was the one that actually saved our country and Merdeka, in a sense that he dared to actually confront. He wanted to debate with Akmal, even though he was only a few, with Akmal 200. I call it really brave. Even, of course, there were a lot of police around, and that would make him very safe. Now, lastly, Akmal and Hilman did not want to debate Zaid Malik, and that shows how cowardly he is. A bully is a coward. A bully, why didn't he come alone? Why did he want to ask all these others to come? Because he's a bully. Very simple, clear. Akmal the bully. Now we have Hilman the bully also. But point here is that when the bully is being confronted by a hero like Zaid Malik, and they keep quiet. They let their minions do the talking. And so this shows the coward or true side of bullies. So finally, what does it mean for Malaysia? Well, it doesn't mean that very well, I think, because number one, we're still stuck in race politics. After 70 years, we're still talking race. Why? Because one party, now three parties, don't know what to talk about. They don't know how to talk about development, they don't know how to talk about education, they don't know how to talk about bringing Malaysia into the future. All they want is to be in power and become rich. And then say that, well, we are Malay, so we are entitled. And so that's all the narrative that we have now. And the only way to go through that is race politics. Now we add on to religious politics by a party that claims to be fighting for Islam, and that is the deeper trouble that we will be in for the next decades or so. So second thing, it means that we are also in a danger in the next general election. If UMNO decides to go with Perikatan Nasional or form the government with Perikatan Nasional, then again we're back to 2020 with the Sheraton move, where there will be a whole majority of a Malay bloc in parliament against the non-Malays. And then you have a religious element added to it that will destroy whatever the founding fathers had for our country. We will then have new founding fathers. So this means that the non-Malays must really think, if they do not come out for election, then this will definitely happen. Now the third thing is that I have wondered, why did Nurul Izzah and Mujahid Rawa not come down? Why is the AP left to fend the threat of Akmal and Hilman alone? I think, of course, the easy reading is that Amanah and is afraid that it will cost them the Malay votes. But I think if Mujahid Rawa was there, then it would give, and Nurul Izzah was there, that would give the idea that the unity government with Pakatan Harapan as the anchor is still fighting for Malaysians. But here, they left it up to the DAP only. Finally, the most important lesson here is that Akmal seems to be given a free license to incite, to insult, to divide our country without any authority to check him. There is no authority from UMNO, because UMNO seems to be agreeing to his antics. There is no authority from the unity government like PKR, simply because there is this delicate relationship in the coalition. There's no sound from GPS and GRS, because they couldn't care less what happened in Semenanjung. as long as they get what they want for their nation, Sabah and Sarawak. And so we have seen how the Agong have said a thing or two, but then still nothing there. So the police also, I don't think is going to take any action in the coming days, and even if were to take action, it will just be perhaps some image making act of. So not only Akmal is not being checked, he also has the strength and moral mandate to force things into the Attorney General's decision, as well as the police action. And so this is a very dangerous thing to award a person like this man, and it's not going to be very good for Malaysia into the future. So the only way is for all Malaysians to understand the threat to counter Akmal. Akmal is trying to divide our country so that they will win, but we Malaysians must come up, every single one, and to make the right choice in the general election to actually steer this narrative of divisiveness created by Akmal and seemingly supported by a silent UMNO to actually become truth for this country. So not the police, not the AGO, not the leaders of political party can stop this landslide and tsunami that's going to happen in this country. Only us, every single good Malaysian, meaning mostly of course non-Malays, to actually come up and steer the country through by our vote, not to stay home and be absent and just complain. So with that, thank you very much. Hi everybody. If you would like to own my book and have my signature as well as a personal note from me, please follow the instruction. Thank you.